What's going on, everybody? It's your man Chuck Creekmur, aka Jigsaw. AllHipHop.com is here with a legendary group with some new additions. Shout out to CultJam, Mike, and Mytina Soul.
All right.
How y'all doing?
Good, good.
I'm good.
Absolutely
Uh,
wonderful.
Mike Hughes. Did I get that? Get the names right and everything?
Yes.
All
Perfect.
right. Good, good. Well, I'm glad to have y'all here. There's a lot going on. Cult Jam's name is back in the, in the headlines, so to speak. A little controversy going on. It's just a little bit. And but you guys are also up to a lot of new stuff too. So we want to talk about that a little bit, in addition to some of the things going on with regard to the Lisa Cult Jam movie. So first things first, you guys are you guys are still going, which is something that maybe everyone does not know. So talk to me a little bit about where you all are right now.
Yes, CultJam. We released an album last year. Well, actually, yeah, last year called CultJam Love. And
Okay.
CultJam Love features our beautiful lead singer, Miss Mytina Soul.
Uh-huh.
And we got together with Mystina a few years ago, sometime after COVID.
Okay.
And we started writing some stuff. We started sending her our music, and she wrote some beautiful lyrics to our stuff. And so we put together an album that we love, that has a nice array of styles of music. What Cold Jam is known for, nice R&B and dance stuff. And that's what we're excited about right now. And we're in the midst of right now. We're knee deep in writing some new stuff for the new album for 2025.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you, Mystina, how did from your perspective, your vantage point, coming into this iconic group, what were your thoughts prior to? Did you know about them, or were you did you idolize the group early on?
Yeah, definitely in my childhood. I mean, as soon as I heard Can You Feel the Beat come
Yeah.
over the radio, I was like, "What?" And I
Yeah.
knew from the way she sang it. I was like, "Oh, she's Puerto Rican." Like I just knew that, because I can I'm Boricua. So, it was just something so relatable to me. And but matter of fact though, even before Can You Feel the Beat, it was a vinyl had no, 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 not Lost in Emotion. It was the Head to Toe. The Head to Toe single had different kind of remixes on it, and I remember all these musical parts on it. I remember the guitar solo.
Okay.
And it's kind of like when I juxtapose it today when I'm rehearsing with them and I hear Alex do that guitar solo, I'm brought back to my child. I was like, wow, I was like idolizing this part of the record.
Right. Right.
And
That's
now it's in front of my face. Like it's amazing.
that's dope. Yeah, we should note that Alex spanned the door. Did I say that right?
Spanador.
Spanador, yeah.
Okay, Spanador Mosley's not with us right now. Hopefully he joins us, but if not, we will, continue on as usual. Coming back from a long hiatus, if you will, and re-entering into the music game, how different is it to not only join the group, but also for you, Mike, to come back to the game, to the forefront?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, the music scene has changed, over the years. And it's like almost like we're a new group, you know?
Mm,
We do have a legacy, but it's almost like we're a new group. So, we're letting people hear us improve ourselves. And, it's interesting. It's a lot of work, you know, it's a
yeah,
lot of work, but we're up for the challenge because, we know what we have, we know what we are, who we are, so it's not like, we don't have a foundation. We have a strong foundation and we're musicians, you know what I mean? We're coming true, and we have a lot to say and Mystina's helping us say it. So, we love our future, man.
nice. Now you're in New York City. New York City is so different now. I mean, you know, even from when I first moved there to now, but even before that, obviously it seemed like it was a more vibrant scene, culturally, creatively. And I'm not saying it's not that now, but it feels far more global and homogenized even. Um, what are your thoughts on the specifically the New York scene?
Wow. I mean, let me just say quickly, I know you want to get in there too. But as far as like now and then, I see musicians knew each other.
Mm.
We fed off of each other. We had the system. I grew up with
Oh
GQ.
my God, the
You
system.
know,
You got to give us some
full
context
force.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the beginnings of hip hop.
right,
UTFO. We used to see Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel used to come to Brooklyn and
right,
play the Brooklyn Zoo. You know what I mean? The community. We felt the community. We
right.
felt each other. We fed off of each other. When Straight first came out, we set it off. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We knew him. You know what I mean? Everyone knew each other. When they were doing shows, we were doing shows. D-Train. There was such a community of artists, and we fed off of each other. And that community, you don't feel that anymore.
Mm. Yeah.
Christina?
Mystina?
Yeah, I was gonna say, for me, New York, the New York scene musically, especially within the uh, dance genre, house, hip hop, whatever it might be, anywhere where you have a collection of the Black diaspora,
Mhm.
it was a vibe. And New York definitely had its own thing. And you can thank the DJs in part because the DJs used to listen to the community. Hey, we're taking your request. Like literally, they'd be like, we're taking your request. Call us up. That used to be a thing. And you could call up and say, yo, I heard this song at a club. You should totally like play this. And the DJ be
Mhm.
like, all right. Like, they be playing it. And
Right.
then that's for me, that's how you create culture. And that was one of the many things that just made the New York scene for me back then so different and unique in and of itself. And I get so nerdy about this because I was obsessed with radio growing up. But everything for me, a change was felt. I felt in the late '90s when radio was starting to like the big conglomerates were eating up the smaller markets, and then those smaller markets were playing whatever national thing that
Mhm.
the corporation is playing. And it was done on purpose. It was done purposefully. They
Yeah.
had clinical trials, everything to
Mhm.
change the mindset. They wanted to know, well, we don't want to put a song that's too unique because we don't want people to tune out of the station so they don't hear the commercials in between. So we're just going to put a song that's just okay. It just kind of grabs you. You
Mhm.
don't necessarily want to leave, but you don't necessarily like think it's the best song. But for
Right.
me, I felt the energy was just different back then. Like when a song was just epic and it had a vibe,
Uh-huh.
you just knew that there was something about that. And it was okay. It was okay to have that.
And with radio developing songs, this is where the name CultJam came from. When a song is small, when a song is known just in that club, just in Funhouse or Bonds or the Garage, you know what I mean? Those are cult. That's a cult. The Garage is a cult. You know what I mean? And then a DJ would get on the radio, BLS or whatever, and play that cult, over like a fat rat. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Come on, over like a fat rat. That's not national play, but yo, that was a hit in the street.
Right.
Club DJ started playing it. Records blew up big time. Same thing with I Wonder If I Take It Home. Those were cult jams that were from the community, from the you know, from the culture, and then they blew up because the radio dared to play them, and people realized, oh, these jams are dope. You know what I mean? It's not just the top 40 on the radio. It's these underground hits. And that's
Mhm.
that's a big difference.
Absolutely. Mystina, can you tell us just a little bit about your background? You said a few buzzwords that I was like, what's she know? What she know about clinical trials or tests or things like that? I'm like, so what's your background like beyond just being a great singer? Tell us a little
Well,
bit about.
a little bit about myself. I was educated at Hofstra University. My major was broadcast journalism.
Oh,
And I got into that honestly because of Michael Jackson. I know it's a weird connection. But I got into broadcast journalism because I felt the media was treating him unfairly growing up. And I felt like his lawyer. Like I was always defending him, because people be coming out the woodworks. And I'd be like, well, but that's not true because, they didn't really look into whatever. So it kind of watching the way that the media hounds a lot of celebrities unfairly. It's different when you have a celebrity who like is actually doing things. But like I felt like just a lot of people, it didn't matter who it was. It could have been Mariah Carey. The way that they mistreated her in the media, all because she gained 10 pounds, oh, she had an alcoholic beverage. That's the way they were. And they just spawned the rumor mill. And I was always obsessed with how they can influence people to believe something so much that it's like, oh, that it doesn't become a lie anymore the more you say it. Right. So that's why I went to broadcast journalism and kind of became like, try to gain more knowledge from people over there about how radio came to be.
Okay. Mike, let's talk about your origins a little bit. Your origins with Alex and like how you got into music and things like that.
Yeah, it's again, it goes back to the Brooklyn community and our neighborhood in East Flatbush, and knowing all the same people, and that's how we all groomed together when Full Force moved into my neighborhood in East Flatbush, and they became my older mentors. And then when I got to high school, we were DJing, we were being a band, we played block parties and college, high schools and stuff like that. We were DJing, then we were DJing at the colleges. We were DJing at Baruch College.
Okay.
And at Baruch College, I met this kid that was playing piano in the piano room with girls around him. Yo, this dude is bad. What's up with him? That's how I talked to him. He knew my boy that was DJing. He knew Azel. His name was, and this guy name was Alex. I said, "Yo, Alex, what's up, man? We know the same people." And we started hanging out. And then he took me to this rehearsal. He said, "Yeah, I'm rehearsing with this band." He took me to this rehearsal, and the guitar player was dope. And his name was Vernon Reed, the lead guitar player from Living Color. So Alex was playing bass with Living Color when I met him.
Wow.
And I said, this dude is dope, man. I said, yo, if I ever put together a band, you the first brother I'm going to call. And just so happened, right, things happen for a reason, just so happened right around that time, B Fine wrote, "I Wonder If I Take You Home," and he said, and I heard it, and everybody heard it, he let us all hear it. And B Fine sang the track. He sang it. Imagine B singing the track. I was like, oh, that sounds crazy. Why are you singing like a girl? You know what I mean? But B wrote these lyrics, these girl lyrics, you know what I mean? And it's, yeah, man, I can hear that. I can hear that. And I can hear like a little Spanish girl singing it like that, And I was like, all right. That's the interesting idea. Right. So in my head, I was like, yo, if I put together a band, get a girl, my boy Alex, bring it back to them, So I sent out word. I was looking for a girl, and my boy Fareed at the fun house, he's like, yo, I think I know somebody. I'll give you her number. Gave me a number. I talked to her on the phone. I said, come to Brooklyn. She came to Brooklyn. And I brought Alex over, and we listened to her sing. So, nice vocals. She's a pretty girl with nice vocals. I think B would like this. You know what I mean? So I went over to them. I said, yo, guys, I got a group for their song. The name of the group is CultJam. We sing this song, B. And B's like, okay, I got to hear this girl. So we brought her over, and they loved her. They loved what we did. They liked the name, CultJam. Steve Salem, who was Full Force manager at the time, he became our manager too. He said, all right, CultJam, that sounds interesting. We need a little more flavor. He said, how about Lisa, like Roxanne, or Duran, Lisa, and CultJam. That has a ring. And there it was. Lisa, CultJam. We recorded I Wonder If I Take You Home, and Can You Feel the Beat?
Wow. Those were done at the same time?
Yeah. I Wonder If I Take You Home was first. And we were on when I first took it home, and this guy Jürgen Kordorf, he had a label, and so he decided to sign us on this label called Personnel Records.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, his wife was an artist on that label, Claudia Barry.
Mm-hmm.
Claudia Barry was a dance hit artist back in the days, disco. Look her
Okay.
up. And so he had her, his wife, as his main artist. And he said, yeah, I could do something, with this, And then we went in, I remember we recorded Can You Feel the Beat? He put up the money, of course, it was his label. And he was listening to the lyrics of Can You Feel the Beat? He was a German guy, he's like, wasn't feeling the lyrics, he's like, you know, through my blind, I can hear the hot, I don't hear that. I don't hear that. Folks like, don't worry, Jürgen, don't worry. It's a hit. It's a hit. It's a hit. You know what I mean? So it's funny how, different people hear things and don't hear the same thing. You know what I mean? You can have a room of 10 people and they all hear something different. You know what I mean? He was complaining about the lyrics and this and that. You know what I mean? So, but, little did he know, little did any of us know that it would turn out to be what it was. So he got the Personnel record, he put it out, and, it was a small label, so it wasn't going to do much unless it got some buzz from a label, from a radio.
Right.
But what he was able to do was get it on a hip-hop breakdance album. How to break dance. Had instructions and everything. How to go down and do up rock. Had his instructional breakdance album. And we were one of the songs on it. And of course, Rockin' It was on it too. Dun, 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 dun. So basically this was by Columbia Records. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But he managed to get us on there. You know what I mean? So it was out in London, and it started getting played in London. In England and stuff like that. And then DJ in New York, like I said, it's from the culture. DJ in New York started playing it on BLS. Right. And they started playing it in Silver Shadow and stuff like that, all the clubs, And Columbia said, hey, we got to release this here. This record is blowing up, and that's how it happened,
I have to say, as a young man, let me just go back to my young days. We had a huge crush on Lisa. I think everybody did, basically. That was a definite moment. You guys hit like a meteorite almost. And obviously Full Force was back there as well. Can you talk a little bit about the relationship with Full Force as it related to those records?
Well, like I said, they used to, from day one, when we used to practice in the basement in East Flatbush, they would try to get shows at Club Ecstasy and stuff like that, open up for GQ, things like that, Crown Heights Affair.
Right.
They would call me up 3 o'clock in the morning, Mike, we're gonna put up posters, man, and they call me up and I come out of my house and we stick up posters on all the trees down Eastern Parkway, come to Manhattan, stick up posters, so show Full Force. People didn't know who Full Force was, but their posters were all over the place. They were working hard, and they managed to open up for people and have good shows, but it just wasn't happening. They were on a small label themselves,
Yeah.
And they came out with a couple of singles back in the days on a small label. And then finally, when I introduced him to my boy Kango, and this is again small world stuff. This kid goes to my high school, Wingate, in Brooklyn, and some guys are bullying him. And he's in the 9th grade,
Bullying Kango kid?
Bullying Kango. He's in the 9th grade, a little scrippy little kid, And by that time, I was almost in the 12th grade. So I was already lifting weights with Paul Anthony.
Okay.
Paul Anthony was the lift weight guy. Yeah. So we already started lifting weights with Paul. So I already had a little size on me, He's like, yo, man, these guys messing with me, So, I said, all right, stick by me, So he stuck by me and he was cool. We got talking. And Kango was a talker. Kango talk about everything. Yo, man, I rap, I pop, I dance, I do this, man. Kango does everything. He'd break dancing right in the middle of the hallway in school, but he could back it up. Your kid was dope, you know. So, I brought him around East Flatbush, and they saw him, they met him, saw him dance. They were like, this kid is dope. He brought Dr. Ice. Him and Dr. Ice came and put on a show right for us, right on 46th Street. And we're like, these kids are bad. These kids are dope. But was like, we could do something with them, we could do something with them. So it started. The idea again came from Full Force. Roxanne. The police were already hot. The name Roxanne was a hot name. You know what I mean? So Full Force, started there. They put together the title and everything, and with them and UTFO together, they came up with Roxanne. They Full Force put together the beats.
Sang.
And yeah. And before you know it, they released it on a smaller label again, Select Records. But this was too hot to hold back. Roxanne just blew up. And that helped Full Force really get in the door as producers, you know?
Right.
And so that's why, when they wrote I Wonder If I Take You Home, people were looking at them, already as producers. They felt confident that they can do it.
Right.
And then, so when they put together the beats, again, putting together the beats in the song, If I Wonder If I Take You Home. So they were establishing themselves as producers. And then they started putting together a network of people. They met Howie T. Howie T brought him into the fold. And Howie T, and Full Force got together, and put together the answer, the real Roxanne. You know what I mean? And it just things just started growing, and Kango got confident after UTFO started hitting. He started producing, and he produced Whistle. You know what I mean? So like the family just started growing. The Full Force family just started growing really big, and it was all because of them. They were the fathers of all of that, and so much came out of that. And then of course they ended up with getting their record contract on Columbia Records and releasing their first album, and then that blew up. So yeah, and we put on a big family tour. We all went out on the road together. Full Force, UTFO, Lisa's and CultJam, Whistle. I mean, we were all on the road, man. Brooklyn was tearing it up.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. I hope the people watching this Google every name you mentioned, because almost like each individual story has its own story and they're all interconnected.
Exactly. Because out of Howie T alone, it was Roxanne, then it was Chub Rock, and it was oh man, I can't forget, man. I'm old.
It's all good.
But yeah, more names, Howie T, really, really just all out of the Full Force family, just things kept coming, and then of course Cheryl Pepsi Riley, then Ex-Girlfriends, and just all of this out of the Full Force family. And then their productions started getting so big, from James Brown to Samantha Fox, it's just
Samantha Fox was like, how'd that happen? Like,
yeah.
I was like, how did this work?
That's crazy, and because people started reaching out for them from Europe, European. That's the funny thing about Europe and London. They really relish American R&B. Because the first time we ever went to Europe, to London, even Japan, we were a group from the 80s. We saw groups from the 70s basically living out there.
Yeah.
Because their careers were still happening. They were past tense here in America, but in Europe, they were still living, Lakeside and people like that, Shalimar, they had continuous careers, in Europe and in London and in Japan, so that's the funny thing, so anyway, they reached out to Full Force because Full Force was so hot, and they had this girl she was a pinup girl, the pinup girl for the magazines, and they said, yeah, and I think she had something out already too. They said, yeah,
Oh yeah, she
like,
had something out for
yeah,
sure.
she had something already,
That shade?
they wanted this influence. They wanted that that New York R&B influence, and they hit it with her. I want to have some fun and stuff like that. Really hit, put her on the map for sure.
I loved that song growing up. I even made a joke about it last week because I found some old footage of me when I'm like 4 or 5 years old dancing
What?
to that song with my cousins. And I was joking around like, oh yeah, I was an original member of Full Force, whatever, like, something like that. I love that
Yeah,
song.
that is so funny. It's funny how music was, well, I don't want to sound old myself, but it felt different. I don't know, just felt different. All right, so I'm gonna fast forward just slightly. Can you give me a general idea of the inner workings of Lisa Cult Jam? How was your relationship overall? What was the dynamic like? Was it good? Was there
The
argument?
dynamic was great. I
Okay.
mean, she was our little sister, just like
Okay.
Mystina's our little sister. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Me and Alex were two mature guys.
mhm,
Even in our 20s, I mean, we were clowns, and we toured, we were crazy, but with our family, our family was our family,
yeah,
and especially girls, because I have a little sister, he has little sisters, nieces, so she was our little sister, and we took care of her. Nothing ever went down with Lisa, you know what I mean? And then as we started getting more money, because at first when our first tours, we didn't have any money. We went out. Our first tours we called dusty tours, because
uh-huh.
the places we played were very dusty. And we played a place one time, the lights went out. And
Wow,
so the crew had flashlights aimed at us on stage.
wow.
These were the early tours of Lisa and CultJam. You know what I mean? But once we started getting money, you know, first thing we did was hire a bodyguard for Lisa. You know,
Right.
before we had a bodyguard for Lisa, our road managers were always slash bodyguard. So
Okay.
all our road managers were all big,
Right.
big dudes to protect Lisa, not us. You know what I mean? Who cares about us? We're running around, me and Alex run, but to protect Lisa. She's 5 foot tall. You know what I mean? And the youngest. So every every manager, road manager, was slash bodyguard. You know,
Mhm.
yo, Alex, Mike, guys got to get on the bus at 4 o'clock. Make sure you're there. But then they go to Lisa's room, get her luggage, pick her up, and take her. You know what I mean? That's
Uh-huh.
where those guys at? So we were like, they yell at us to get on the bus, but they go, and so that's how it always was. We took care of Lisa when we traveled to Europe. You know, we took care of Lisa, make sure everything, what do you need? All right,
Yeah.
Lisa has everything she needs. She has some food, she has a snack. She goes to her room, and me and Alex go run out and hit the town. You know what I mean? And that's the
Yeah.
way it was, you know what I mean? Because she didn't want to run around with us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She get on the phone, probably call family, whatever. That's what girls do, but what guys do, we go out and be crazy, you know what I mean? Try to meet girls in Europe, you know what I mean? Whatever. But that's the way it was, and that's the way it was through all our time,
Yeah.
together. We were family, and like a family, we had arguments, we had disagreements about things, but we always worked things out. We had a stage show. Everybody did what they supposed to do. You know what I mean? Lisa came on and did her thing. I arranged everything, put the show together. You know, um, Alex come on and make sure everybody's playing the right stuff. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And so we all had our parts and we all did our thing. And we hired people to come in and out. So we had a lot of band members and people that worked for us. We hired people from our neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
It was always a family. It was people we knew, people we cared about. And when we auditioned new people, they had to fit with us to be on a tour bus with us. Night and day and night. So some people we hire, they be on the road with us, and we're like, "Ooh, this guy doesn't fit with us," you know,
Uh-huh.
and then we had to let him go. You know what I mean? Things like that. But so everyone had to communicate. It had to be because we knew we were going to live together. In small quarters on a tour bus and things like that. So our relationship was always cool. And even when it didn't end badly. It ended
Uh-huh.
because things were changing. You know what I mean? Things were changing with the label.
Uh-huh.
So things were changing with money.
Uh-huh.
Money's always funky. And once money gets funky, people start, acting different and feeling different. And people talking in people's ears. I mean, obviously after 9 years, at least being our lead singer, people talking in the ear. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? You don't need a band. You don't need the CultJam, You just be solo, So all of those things came to the end of us, and but it wasn't like, oh, it was like first it was like, okay, we need to try some new things. We need to try maybe some space, you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And we'll come back together. We actually thought we were going to come back together. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Everyone just needed some space after working with each other that much, that we needed a little space, and then we'll get back together. But getting back together just never happened, even though there were many talks about it, and there were a few almost over the years, but it just
Uh-huh.
never happened. Yeah.
Okay. So let's get to it. February 1st, 2025. Lifetime debuts. Can you feel the beat? The Lisa story. Is that the correct title?
That's the story. Can you feel the beat? The Lisa story. Yeah, yeah,
Now,
yeah.
now, Cult Jam is in this movie represented fully, or what one would assume is fully, meaning your casual observer, you're looking, they okay, there they are. Well, um, let me ask you, your general thoughts on the movie, and even Mystina, if you want to answer this as well. What did you think of the movie overall?
Okay, well, first off, we found out that this movie was coming out probably a month before it came.
Mm,
And so we were like, okay, wow, that's that's interesting that she got it,
mm-hmm,
you know, to think that your career is that interesting that someone wants to do a movie is,
mm-hmm,
it's that's interesting at the start. You're like, wow, really? Okay, you know what I mean? That's cool, I guess. But then you gotta guess because like no one reached out to us. So are we in the movie? You know what I mean?
right,
Are we in the movie? And how are we in the movie if no one reached out to us? Then okay, that's interesting. So now you're like, you have all these mixed thoughts. You know, that's
mm-hmm,
cool, but is it cool? You know what I mean? Are you
mm-hmm,
gonna be in it? Are you gonna be the back of your heads? And that's what
mm-hmm,
I thought for the longest. I was like, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna show the back of our heads on a performance and
mm-hmm,
say, at least the coach performing on stage and show the back of our heads and show her. And I started to believe that and felt, you know what? That's okay. You know what I mean? Because they didn't talk to me about my representation. So it's about her.
yeah,
So they'll just show some images and that's cool. You know what I mean? It's about her. So that's cool.
yeah,
And I was cool with that. Then later on, someone told me, oh, no, there's some guys playing you. I was like, what? So that
mm-hmm,
means they're not going to show the back of us. They're going to actually have people being us, but no one spoke to us. So how is that going to play out? How are they going to, who told the story then of us? It's going to be a story of us. Like, are we going to have lines? Are we going to do things? Are we going to do good things? Are we going to do stupid things? I mean, like all those kind of thoughts in your head because, no one spoke to you. So you don't know what to expect.
right,
So then the movie comes out and we see it. And the first scenes come out. And this dude comes up and says, I'm Mike Hughes. I'm like, okay, okay. So what is this guy gonna do?
right,
And this thing started being wrong. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's wrong.
mm-hmm,
That's wrong.
mm-hmm,
Why'd they do that? That's wrong. And that's wrong. And hey, wait a minute. Where was full force? Who's this guy? Is this guy supposed to be full force? Is he a
mm-hmm,
who's that? In the whole movie, I was like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand anything that's happening in this movie. I'm like, it's so confusing. You know what I mean? And why is she there? 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 She wasn't there. What? what's happening with this? You know what I mean? So the whole thing, I was like, I don't understand this. You know what I mean? No one, if someone just asked me a
Mm-hmm.
question, maybe I could have, helped it along. But no, I wasn't asked anything. So maybe this is called confused. Maybe this is a confused memory of someone. You know what I mean? It's been 40 years.
Yeah.
Maybe people have things mixed up in their mind. Maybe. Is that it? No.
Mm,
And
not
then
when
it
you
ended.
eliminate full force.
And
You
then it
can't.
ended, and I was like, this is a mess. This is a
Yeah.
mess. And how are
Yeah.
people gonna, people gonna watch this, and what are they gonna say? What are they
Right.
gonna say about me? What are they gonna say about the group? Because this is a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And people started calling me,
Mm-hmm.
calling me, calling me. Like, no, that's wrong. I'm sorry, that's wrong. And I'm fielding questions,
Mm-hmm.
and Alex is like laughing about it. He has a sense of humor about it. The guy that played him, you know what I mean? But he's like, but this is so wrong. I'm like, yeah, I know it's so wrong in every way. And I start talking to Lou, and Lou's like, what the hell? And I'm like, I know, it's crazy. And the thing is, because we were portrayed in the movie, I don't want people to think that, oh yeah, we were down with it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because we weren't down with it. No one spoke to us, and the facts are all wrong. And I'm the one who knows the facts because it was me that put everything together. So the
Mm-hmm.
facts are wrong, and it's crazy. That,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There's a
Uh,
lot. There's a lot to say about it.
it's a lot. I mean, my first antennas went off obviously with full force being not included. Yeah, I mean, it's omitted. They were eliminated from the movie, completely erased out of the story, which to me was egregious. I'll just be very honest. Not that yours wasn't egregious, but from our point of view, you might not know all the particulars, right? So that was the first thing that threw me off. Um, Let me ask you this. Is there any reason that you can think of that full force would be eliminated?
We were talking about this a lot. We heard their reason. What they put out.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, didn't seem. Be obviously in something like this, you could take 2 minutes, a short amount of time, and just make everything correct. The whole full force, CultJam, and Lisa in 2 minutes. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? But they didn't want to do that.
yeah.
What their focus was, that would have interfered with their focus.
Hmm, hmm.
And their focus was to make a friendship bigger than everything else,
Hmm.
and something that really didn't actually exist at that time. You
Right.
know, um, um, to be perfectly honest, because Alex is not here, Alex always tells me, Mike, gotta be honest. You know what I mean? I try to
Uh,
make things like, you know, Alex like, yo, man, just,
Diplomatic.
yeah,
but
we can be real.
but they, this, the girl that was hired as one of our background singers, Tony,
Hmm.
joined us a couple of years into our touring, and then she was really let go at one time, and then she was brought back again because she was a little older and we felt she was a little more mature.
Hmm.
So that's her entrance and exit through the 3 years that the movie takes place.
Okay.
They wanted to make it seem like she was there from day one. So filling the story up with her, I guess, you know, um, trumped telling the true story of Lisa and CultJam and Full Force.
Yeah.
Um, but my whole thing is also, if you're gonna name the movie "Can You Feel the Beat,"
Hmm.
that's the name that Full Force came up with, which was the song that Full Force wrote. So how could you not say their name,
Yeah.
in the movie and point them out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's the name of the movie. If the
Right.
name of the movie was just the Lisa story, then you could have went a lot of different ways. You know what I mean? You could have kind of skipped us even, you know what I mean, and went into Lisa, you know, how she came about, where she was born, you know what I mean, and then how she ended up with a TV show and how she ended up on Law and Order.
Right.
There's a whole lot of Lisa story, you know what I mean, and then how she ended up having Tony as her manager,
Right.
which is the situation, and then how their friendship developed. But that's all after. That's
Right.
not during that 3 period of time when the movie took place. So they wanted to fuse that time with our time,
Right.
which just made everything a hot mess,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why people confuse and then it ended up being, is a confusion, because we all know that sometimes when you make a movie, uh, something like that, a biopic,
Mm-hmm.
you have to make things, I don't know, you have to, but people
Matter.
make things up to make it more dramatic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They tell a few stories. This
Mm-hmm.
happened and that happened. More dramatic now. You know what I mean? Viewers really want to love this. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that we all understand. We all should understand. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Some people don't. They what they see on TV is fact, right? But then when you go on interviews, you go on somebody's TV show, you go on the morning show, you go on whatever, and you
Mm-hmm.
say, "Yeah, that's what happened. This
Yeah.
happened and that happened." Now you're backing up the stories that you made up in the movie. Because
Right.
the movie's one thing. We know that the movie's fictional. We know that the movie's not true because it's dramatic. But
Mm-hmm.
now you're going on national TV shows, going on reputable shows, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
telling them, yeah, this is really what happened. So now you're lying.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so and then you can't turn around and back up saying, "Oh yeah, but full force, we loved them. We just didn't think that." You can't back it up after that. Now you can't backtrack. You know what I
Right.
mean? You already
Yeah.
started lying, and now it's a hot mess.
So I just want to clarify, well, not clarify, but just kind of orient people. Um, there was a lot of backlash to the point where Lisa and Tony addressed the controversy in a joint Instagram post where they say the reasons why Full Force wasn't in there, and there was some reasons, and those reasons primarily seem to be: one, this is Lisa's story, and two, and Tony's story, and three, there was a lot of confusion about CultJam and Full Force, which I might add, I never in my life as a younger person, thought CultJam. I personally, this is just me. Maybe I was a student too much, but I never thought there was confusion between CultJam and Full Force. Personally, that's just me. Um, I'm originally from Delaware, so I wasn't around the streets of New York or anything
Right,
to be confused. I was never confused,
right,
even off the first song, even off I wonder if I take you home. I never was confused. So I mean, in my opinion, no hate, no no animosity. I just didn't understand the reasoning. Didn't make sense to me. Which is why I asked Bow-Legged Lou, which he did not respond. Like, what happened? Like, well, something had to happen. Why would they do that? So anyway, that's just I'm looking for answers myself, as I'm sure many people are looking for answers. Tony seems to be very, very deeply involved in Lisa's career. She's got a heavy hand in the creation of this movie. Her story is absolutely threaded very intimately through, again, like you mentioned, almost like they were just best friends the whole time. But that's just, I guess you're saying, not true. She came
yeah,
after a
yeah,
couple
yeah,
albums, I
yeah.
suppose. Okay, well,
They- you know, they, like I said, know for a fact that during Lisa's solo career,
Mm-hmm.
when she released the album Skip to Malou, that's
Mm-hmm.
Lisa's solo career, and then they were on tour. They were doing tours. Tony was hired as her background singer.
Mm-hmm.
And when Lisa's manager passed,
Yeah.
Stephanie,
Yeah.
um, Tony assumed the job of her. So this is all in the recent years. This is all in the 2000s. Some people say the later 90s,
Right.
later 90s into the 2000s. So this has nothing to do with the Lisa CultJam time. This
Yeah.
is, all the Lisa time, Lisa solo time. So,
Yeah.
you know, but I guess
Um.
they felt that that time wasn't interesting enough for
Mhm.
a movie. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
you know, you know.
Have you? I think I know the answer to this, but have you talked to any of them?
No, no. You know, the last time we spoke to Lisa, or the last time we were supposed to speak to Lisa, just a little, just a little, uh, just a little insight of what's kind of what we know. The
Mm-hmm.
last time, her management, which is Snoop Dogg Entertainment, if you don't know, people don't know, that's her management. And they reached out to us, to all of us, saying that we would like to have a Lisa and CultJam and Full Force tour.
Mm-hmm.
And so they reached out to us and we were like, wow, that's pretty interesting, pretty cool, So we're gonna do a Skype call. Everybody's all the parties be on this call, and it's cool. And it's like, okay, wow, I mean, reality, we're like, really, is this something that's gonna happen? Really, because we were always down for this. I mean, it's our history. You know what I mean? To tour three of us, that's our history. That's something I put together. That's my dream. That's my baby. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so this is gonna happen again. What? So then the day comes, the call happens, and we all start chiming in on the call. All our faces in the boxes, and Tony Marsh faces in the box,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, where's Lisa? And Tony says, no, she's not going to be on this call.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. And that's
Hmm.
fact. Everybody, all full force, everybody was on that call.
Yeah.
And
That was it.
there was also one other time for the Puerto Rican Day Parade. I was asked to be on a float by a PR PR agency, and they're in Puerto Rican, so they're both
Mm-hmm.
PR in many ways. But I was asked to be on the float for the parade the past year,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, yeah, that'd be dope, whatever. So I go over there, and then I also remember that Lisa is like the comadre, we call, the godmother of the parade.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, that'd be like so dope. Like, because I'm still a fan. So I'm like, oh my God, it'd be so dope if I could actually see her, meet her, the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe she was releasing a new single in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was like All Cried
All,
Out in
all cried
Spanish,
out in
right?
Spanish. Yeah.
And
Okay.
like, I know you guys, you in particular, you were like actually setting like back and forth, I think with Tony or something, to like set something up where
Mm.
we can be at the show, but not me.
What?
Yeah. They were having yeah,
Wait,
yeah, yeah,
wait.
they were having they were inviting people, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to this, record hearing party,
Mm-hmm.
inviting people, and they reached out to us and we were shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They say, yeah, because All Cried Out is part of our history. So, we want you guys to be there, represent, Lisa's new song. And we said, okay, well, we want to bring Mytina, of course. You know what I mean? Because we're the new group now. At least, no,
They said no.
No, no,
Mm.
sorry, we can't have it.
Mm.
We're full. We can't have another guest.
Mm.
That's
Okay.
petty. That's petty.
So you didn't go, and all of you, none of you
No,
went.
we didn't go. No, yeah, we're not. No,
Yeah,
we're a group. We're a group. We're going to this thing as a group. You know what I mean? We
yeah.
go to functions as a group. We're CultJam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. So do you guys sing those songs now? Do you sing those the old songs all cried out and you still sing them? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, and every time we do a show, Bow-legged Lou and Paul, they try to come out to the show so they can sing with
They
me
all
on All
cried
Cried
out.
Out.
Yes,
Of course
yes.
they do.
They sang all cried out with Mytina. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, they
it's
have?
great.
Okay, so they
Yeah,
have.
yeah, they've sang all cried out with Mytina. We're CultJam. You know what I mean? That's our legacy. You know what I mean? Alex. We played on that stuff. Alex played the bass synth on all. On that stuff. We played on all our stuff. This is our stuff. You know what I mean? He was the lead singer at the time, but this is our stuff. We're a legacy. You know what I mean? And in the museum in Tennessee, the African American Museum in Tennessee, it's Lisa and CultJam. Here we are. You know what I mean? CultJam. You know what I mean? So those songs are part of us. We perform those songs as well as performing all the stuff from CultJam Love and all the stuff we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Has Lou ever stuck a sticker on you, Mystina? That's the question I have for you. Has he ever pranked you?
Oh no, he hasn't got a chance to do that with her.
Okay, okay. Because I said, give it some time. Give it some time.
Lou is the ultimate clown, but
Yeah,
that's my big brother. You know what I mean? Through all the times, through all the times that we were a group, then the group weren't the group anymore. Our friendship, you know, with all of them. Period. You know what I mean? These were guys that I went clubbing with. You know what I mean? Learned music. You know, went to see groups for the first time. We went to see Prince for the first time, on his first tour in New York at Webster Hall. You know what I mean? We watched people like that and we said, we want to perform like that. That's
yeah,
the kind of stage show we want. This is what groomed us, and these guys helped groom us. And this is the kind of show that CultJam has always put together. You know what I mean? So, this is the kind of show that you can always expect from us from 1985 to 2025. This is the kind of show, a well-groomed show that you're gonna always see from CultJam because this is who we are.
nice. Now we were real quick. We were offline or whatever. We're talking about Angie Stone and the tragedy with her. I'm all about positivity, healing vibes. If there was anything each of you could say to Lisa, what would you say to her right now? If we could move, if that's how you feel, what would you say? In the interest of moving forward.
She was always my baby sister. You know what I mean? We didn't have a fallout, and that's why we're not talking. The last time I saw her was at her 50th birthday. I went to her 50th birthday in Long Island. You know what I mean? And we hung out and they performed and everything, and they brought me up, and we were clowning around, so that's and in all the camps know each other, I know some of our background singers, things like that, so you know, there's no reason for the lack of communication. You know what I mean? She's always my baby sister. She'll always be. You know what I mean? I don't consider this movie a stab in the back or anything like that. I just think, I think the wrong people ended up writing the stuff. You know what I mean? And they just did it wrong. You know what I mean? But I don't hate her for it. You know what I mean? I just think people that got involved did it wrong. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? She's always my baby sister. That's it.
Okay. Mystina, as a fan, you've never met her to this day. Is this correct? Huh.
So, I just want to say, God, mommy, please meet your goddaughter.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And me, I want to still interview you, Lisa. I love you still. I do. I do. I have met
She's
her
what
once.
she is. She's an icon, man. You know,
Yeah.
she is what she is. Icon.
It was, by the way, it was kind of cool seeing her act as well because I haven't seen her really in such a long time. I mean, really just met her once and never really saw her much after that. So seeing
Right,
her,
right.
that was pretty cool too. That was pretty
Nah,
cool.
no, back in the days when she did Law and Order and when she had a show, we always like,
Hyena.
we knew she could do this.
Oh
Me
yeah,
and Alex, we always talked to them. We knew she could do this. You know what I
uh,
mean? You
I
know.
probably saw her and didn't even really realize it. Perhaps I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a Law and Order addict, particularly because of my. No, I can't say only because of Ice-T, but pretty much every rolling cast has always been dope.
Sure. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, and I love the episode that she did. Yeah, yeah. Ice is, Ice is legendary. We did
Yeah.
shows with Ice back in the days, man.
Mhm.